Ever notice how life's best stories don't happen in your living room? They happen on the open road, out on the water, or parked under the stars. At Progressive, they get that you want to focus on the experience, not worry about the what-ifs. That's why they offer quality insurance designed for your ride, whether that's a boat, RV, or motorcycle. Adventure with confidence. Visit Progressive.com and see how easy it is to protect your favorite way to get away. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in D.C. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Something like this is kind of like volatile, right? It's like too dangerous. It's like too easily weaponized by like people who are like on that, again, manifest destiny. Let me just go westward and displace a bunch of people already living there. However, I do believe in a personal legend. In thinking that I have a personal legend, it means everything I do or do not do is either in service of the personal legend or sabotaging my access to fulfilling my personal legend. I believe in this book and I believe in what this book is saying, and I think it's ruining my life.
Welcome to The Stacks, a podcast about books and the people who read them. I'm your host, Tracy Thomas, and today is The Stacks Book Club Day. We are joined once again by best-selling author Mary H.K. Choi, whose newest book, Pool House, is out now. And we are discussing our June book club pick, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. This beloved and hated allegorical novel follows Santiago, a shepherd boy whose quest from Spain to the Egyptian desert in search of buried treasure transforms into a life-changing journey of self-discovery. Today in our discussion, Mary and I talk about how this book became the juggernaut that it is today. We talk about our own personal legends and think about this book's impact on today's current political and social climate. Stay tuned for our conversation, and yes, there are spoilers. And don't forget to listen all the way to the end of today's conversation to find out what our July book club pick will be. Everything we talk about on each episode of The Stacks is linked in our show notes. If you like this podcast, if you want more bookish content and community, consider joining the Stacks Pack on Patreon and subscribing to my newsletter, Unstacked, on Substack. By joining each of these places, you get special perks like bonus episodes, hot takes, community, and you make it possible for me to make this podcast free to all every single week. To join, head to patreon.com/thestacks for the Stacks Pack and go to tracythomas.substack.com for my newsletter. All right, now it is time for my conversation with Mary H.K. Choi about The Alchemist. All right, everybody, it is the Stacks Book Club Day. It is the end of June. We are joined again by the wonderful, amazing, fantastic debut novelist, author of Pool House, Mary H.K. Choi.
Did I do air horn last time? I feel like I might have. Hi.
I don't think so. Well, Now you've covered your bases. You've done air horn and like precious meeting strangers voice. Hi,
Hello.
It's me, Mary.
Enchanté. Also, Pool House. Okay, that's the only drop. That's the only drop. That's
Well, maybe we can weave Pool House into this. So it's book club. We're talking about this stunner of a book, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Coelho, I don't know how to say it, but I say it different every time.
I've heard Coelho.
Oh, okay, Portuguese. Go off.
I mean, I have no idea, but like I looked it up. But it was like that fake YouTube with that mouth, and it's like AI. It's like Coelho. So I don't know.
I also looked it up and got like Coelho, and I was like,
Coelho.
I don't know. I don't speak Portuguese. I'm not Portuguese. I'm not Brazilian. I don't know. I don't speak the language. But lucky for us, this was translated into English so we could read it for book club. Everybody who's listening right now, we will spoil this book. So if you have not finished, we're going to spoil it. I don't know that there really are spoilers for a book like this because, you know, it is written.
It's like a parable. It's like, you spoiled like, I don't know, the tortoise and the hare for me.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
It's definitely, I do know. That's why I'm like, I don't know that you can spoil this book, but you know, people get mad at me for spoiling all the time. And I'm like, we say it 9 times before I ever spoil anything. So just like, pause. Also, you guys can pause.
This book was published in like the 80s or something.
Yeah, it's 40 years old. It's 38 years old. So if you want to know what happens to the shepherd boy if you're like dying to know the shepherd boy, what happens, and you don't want to be spoiled, pause. But otherwise, we're going to tell you what happens to Santiago.
Santiago.
Here's where we always start with book club. Broadly, what did you think?
So, okay, couple of prefaces. We agreed that we would not go into this with a cynical heart. I think that that's really important to sort of set up. I think it's also important to say that you had to buy 2 copies of this, which I find really funny.
I did.
Because you left one at home and then you came to New York to visit me, and that was really great.
And that was my personal legend, like that I needed 2 copies, you know?
Yeah, the universe is always going to conspire benevolently in favor of your personal legend. Is that a spoiler? I don't know. So what did I think of the book? Twofold. One, I hated it. Mm-hmm. Like, it just reminded me of like every single, and it doesn't surprise me that it's a book that is cited alongside like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Who Moved My Cheese, or 7 Habits, or like whatever. Yeah. And it's also like, you know, like the 4 Agreements. It's like a lot of like kind of like starter pack reader type thing, either in like theology, sobriety, like spirituality, or basically manifest destiny. I feel like so much of it could be weaponized and used by like a founder being like, it's okay that I'm extractive or fracking or whatever, because it's I'm just fulfilling my personal destiny. It feels like very like, you know, like someone who, you know, reads The Fountainhead once, like as a vibe as well. So that part I really hated. However, I'm also delighted to report that as I was reading it, I also had a breakthrough in therapy.
Okay.
And I had a big cry, like a sobbing big cry. Okay. That was like a calcified lump of resentment toward my partner, and like kind of a breakdown as it relates to like my book, which came out this month, and all my feelings about that. So like it may be, I hated it while it was going down, but it also maybe worked, ? How about you?
Okay. So like you said, we read this book earnestly. However, I did go into this pick. The reason that I was like, this is the book I want to do, which I rarely foist a book on my guest. Usually we work together to come up with the pick, but I was like, Mary, will you do this with me? Was because I want to spend time talking about how this book is how we got to this current political moment. And you sort of already touched on it. But like, there is something about this book where there's a direct line between the boy and the manosphere. And I want to talk about that because I feel like every, we have like the term girl boss. We need a boy boss term because every boy boss, this is their favorite book. And like, that is meaningful to me because I think that is like unlock something that maybe we're missing.
No, totally. I had the same thing in my notes where I was just like, manosphere, ? And I also said, girl bossing too close to the sun, ?
Yes.
In relation to Santiago's behavior at certain points.
Exactly.
And like, we were just talking about voting in California, and, we were basically, it's like, it would not surprise me if Spencer Pratt thought that running for office was like a fulfillment of his personal legend.
And that this book is super important to him. Like that people who hold this book dearly, like there is a commonality between those people and Spencer Pratt's Crystal to Mayor pipeline. Because let's not forget, he is Crystal Boy, just like Santiago, our Crystal Boy.
Totally. Well, Crystal Boy that became a Crystal Man. Like so Santiago how do we talk about the plot? Like,
okay. Let me give you my broad thing, and then we'll do a quick plot run. Okay. So broadly, I went in with that lens, and so I did read it with that lens of like, how come this book is this book? It was a less painful read for me than the first time I read the book, because the first time I read it, shout out to my brothers, they all were like, "You have to read it; it's amazing." Like, yeah. And this was like, before I went to work for Obama in 2008, I was like 22 and they were like, you have to read this book. And I remember getting to the end and being like, I fucking hate this book and I hate this ending more than anything I've ever hated in my life. So going into the book, all I remembered was that like he's on a journey and the ending sucks, but I couldn't remember what the ending was. So as I was reading it, I was like, how could this ending suck? Like, like he's gonna get his treasure. Like what was I so mad about at 22? And then I got to the ending and was like, I'll murder this guy. Like I fucking hate I was like, this ending is rage inducing for a person who likes to read books.
But also the ending is so like, Rosebud was the sled, or like, it was all a dream. So that ending is definitely maddening. However, I will say there is something being mansplained by brothers to read this book as a sister, because the depiction of like women, like in this book is so sus to me, where I'm just like, okay, cool. So like the love of his life, who is like also the fulfillment of his personal treasure in some sort of ancillary kind of indirect way, is a total non-playable character.
Yes.
And like she has so many other men like speaking for her, and like she's like kind of like mute but like raven-haired, and I'm just like, this is bullshit.
Well, and the other original love of his life, the like shopkeeper's daughter, she is first of all just a shop. He's like, I don't even know her name. I just like told her about a book I read. Like she's also just like not a human being. Like there's like two women who are just like truly not a human being, and he's giving big like Romeo energy, because in Romeo and Juliet, he's like in love with Rosalind, and then he's like, Juliet, the love of my life. And I'm like, oh, so Fatima is Juliet and shopkeeper girl is Rosalind? Like, not very kind.
Yeah, also would die for both all the time. Like, but also like the thing that I found resoundingly sus, and that I did also resent, to your point about like, I hate, as a person who likes reading books, like I hate this ending. His whole thing in the beginning is like, I'm a shepherd, but I know how to read, rah, rah, rah. I went to seminary. And he's so gassed on being able to read. And then the rest of the book, he's like, just like trying to throw away books as quickly as possible. Like he's so angry.
He's like, I can't read this book. I don't understand a word in this book. This book is nonsense. And then the other guy's like, yeah, that book's just like about the secrets of the universe. You don't have to read it. I was like, yeah, okay, totally. Go off.
It's like, he's like, this book is a good pillow, but this book is heavier. Like it was just like, so like, I was like, I'm je suis fatiguée. Like I was
That's what I'm saying.
Tired.
This book is like, it's a perfect representation of right now. We've got like the manosphere. We've got the literacy crisis. It's like the boy knew he was leading. This is all of our personal legends, is like to see this book for what it is.
It's not even that the boy knew. It's like the boy is. The boy just embodies like
okay,
the alpha
Paulo, go off.
Everything. Just and then also like, did you think it was kind of like sus that he was like Christian?
Yes, and then everyone's Muslim, but also everyone's an atheist. It was very confusing to me.
And that to me was like, I know it's 80s, but that feels a little algo, where you're like, okay, these are the ingredients that are going to make this sort of really, really work. Like, I just felt a little, not deceived, but a little manipulated by that.
The actual like true religious aspects of this, like the Christianity, the like Muslim people, that part was I really disliked that. I feel like this book would have been better if it was just like God or like a higher spirit, because then it started because then it started to get into like, well, are you going to believe, like when you talk about like God this or God that, like which God are you talking about? Right? Like, is the God for all of like the crystal merchant was very clearly a Muslim man. He was talking about like doing his pilgrimage to Mecca and all of that stuff. And then I don't know. It just was like, well, then is Santiago going to become Muslim? Because those were a lot of the things he was following. I couldn't quite tell why we needed to have like clear, distinct religions, especially in a parable. Like we don't need it. God could just God. We all believe in God here, or we don't.
Legit, it's called The Alchemist. Like, already we're into some woo-woo territories here. So it's like the actual, like, dogmatic aspects of it. I was just like, I feel like this is a giant mixed metaphor. It's like wearing, like, Adidas and Nike at the same time. I'm confused. Like, I was just, like, not here for that. But, like, so the synopsis basically, though, is that you have a shepherd boy. He goes to seek his future. Well, he becomes a shepherd because he wanted to see the world. And he wanted to leave home. And then I know that everybody's read it, but just in case people...
No, a lot of people are not going to read it. They just want to hear us talk about it.
And this is the meta narrative about literacy, right? They're not, but I will say, so he's traveling, blah, 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 fulfilling his personal legend. He learns about the personal legend. He learns about how to read omens. He learns about how to sort of vibrate along to the sort of vibe of the universe, or like the universe will always conspire to allow you to fulfill your personal legend. And when you start out, you have beginner's luck. And then it gets harder and harder, and the universe will keep testing you And then there's a part about your heart where like your heart is also made of the soul of the universe. And so your heart will tell you, but your heart is also like kind of a pussy. So sometimes it will lead you astray.
Sometimes your heart's scared. And so you don't want to listen to your heart, but you have to listen to your heart because your heart doesn't want to hurt you, but also like listen to your heart.
Yeah, listen to your heart. But like, and so then like whatever, I don't think it's a spoiler, but yada, yada, yada. He fulfills his personal legend. He gets to Egypt to see the pyramids because that was like the omen or like the vision or whatever. And then this feels like a spoiler, but whatever. Let's
We are
go.
spoiling, so it's fine.
We're spoiling. So at the end, he gets to the pyramids. He sees the pyramids he gets beaten up. And then one of his assailants is basically like, ha, you dumbass. I know you were like, and he's like digging for his treasure or whatever. He's like, you dumbass. Like I did the same thing. But they said that my treasure was apparently at this other place. And of course, the other place is the place that Santiago had left. Like that was
where he started. The book starts
Right.
with him like in a church with a broken roof with a tree growing
With a
through
tree,
it.
yeah,
And that's
totally.
where he has his recurring dream multiple times.
Right. And so that's kind of what I was saying about Rosebud is the sled. You know, it's like it's all this whole misdirection.
Right. It's I see
blah, blah,
dead I see dead people.
blah. It's giving I see dead people.
Yeah. It's like a giant twist ending. The beginning is the end, and the end is the beginning.
And like, what even is time? So I have a disclosure, which is that like you bought 2 copies of this. I refused to buy a copy of it. And so when we knew we were doing this book, I was like, fuck it, I'm Libbying. And so I like stationed all my Libbies, but this book has like an insane weight.
That's why I couldn't do it.
weight.
I had Libbied too before. I'm still like 6 weeks out on my Libby. I Libbied for audio and print, hoping that I would get it, and I didn't get it.
Audio. So
I got the audio too, but I was like, I need to take notes.
Well, okay, so the audio is actually done by the actor Jeremy Irons.
I heard.
So you basically got Scar from The Lion King narrating the whole book. And I was just like, this is great. It's story time. Here's where this fucked me up, though. One, you know how like the Nutcracker is weirdly racist? Where like, you know how like dance is weirdly racist?
Yes.
Oh,
like
I
the
guess this is
China tea.
The ching
like,
chong. Yeah, totally. And then it's like, ding, 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 or like the weird like gong sound, or like, here's from Southern Asia. And then it's like very weird. So like he does voices.
Uh-oh.
And and is kind of the right instinct. So, and you know how like, so you were just recently in New York and we had a big gab session and you were telling me that you read, what was the thing about reading that you were saying?
Sub-vocalizing.
Yes. Tell us what that is.
Sub-vocalizing is like when you read where you hear the words out loud as you read them. So some people read and it's silent in their brain. You just are reading the words and it's just happening. I don't know what that is, so I can't exactly explain what that feels like because I've never experienced that. And then some people like me, as I read, I'm hearing the words, like I'm sort of saying the words in my head as I'm reading. So that's called sub-vocalizing, and I do that. And you do not.
I do not sub-vocalize. I scan. So I can read a page like 8 times faster than Jeremy Irons is speaking. And until you told me that, and until this project, I didn't know that that was true. So then I broke down and I actually bought a copy, like a Kindle copy. So that's problematic on so many fronts. But like, so as I was reading it, well, as Jeremy Irons was like saying it to me, it was insufferable.
Because why didn't you just speed up the audio?
I tried to, but then it was just like all his like, it was too fricative. And I was just like, oh no, like here is a man. Because he enunciates, like Irons is an enunciator.
Yes, he's got a great voice.
Great voice. But it was like a man, like mansplaining about a dream that he once had for like 5 hours. Because it's insufferable. It's one thing if like, Patrick Radden Keefe or Patty Ratty Daddy.
Yes. Shout out to you and me books.
Yeah. It's one thing if he's telling you about a story about these British people.
Yeah.
But Jeremy Irons telling me a story about fucking Maktub and like the shepherd boy was too much, so I abandoned that.
Yeah.
But I was excited for 15 minutes.
I think I do still have the audio copy from the library. I might just try to give it a quick listen just so I can hear what you're talking about. But I knew this was not going to be an audio situation for me. And to be quite frank, I did take a lot of notes in this book. I don't know if you can see all my little folds there, but there's a lot of folds. There's a lot of underlines because I was really like grappling with what was useful to the plot and also what was the point of the book. And the point of the book is all the like aphorisms. It's like all of these like, I don't know, is platitude the right word? Would you call these like...
I was thinking the same thing. Platitude, bromide.
Yes. Yes, all of these and like truisms and all of these like definitive things. Like the universe will conspire to help you get what you want. And like, you know, then there's also all these like weird phraseology, like soul of the universe or like, you know, language of the heart and all of the stuff that I was trying to keep track of. Like when our boy, whose name is Santiago, but is mostly just called Boy the entire book, which I think is also like hilarious. Like, why did you give him a name if he's just going to be the boy? Nobody calls him Santiago. But once the boy finally like gets going through the desert, he's headed to Egypt. He meets this Englishman who is a monster. Just like I kept thinking, like, could you imagine being on a fucking camel with this guy who's like, oh my God, let me tell you about this alchemist. Like, so they can turn, like, he was like so hyped. He's like, oh, you need to learn about this and you need to learn about that.
And he's traveling with all of these books.
Books. You know, he's such a jerk to everybody. Like, he doesn't talk to anybody else. He's such an asshole.
Also, he spent his entire like family fortune. So like he was like, he's established as this like sort of like sour faced guy, like kind of despondent and with all this gear. So I'm imagining like all this like Gucci, Goyard, like steamer cases and like hat boxes and shit, like a big old tower of them. And then he basically talks about how the Alchemist does do something really interesting in POV. So it stays with the boy mostly, but it does some head hopping that I thought was really interesting. A little bit, yeah. And so like he had spent, his family had left him a fortune. So he has
here, I have the paragraph right here. Let me read this to you guys.
Okay.
Because I remember reading this paragraph and being like, this is literally nonsense. Like I was like, this is gibberish. Okay. It's sort of long, everybody bear with me. The Englishman was sitting on a bench in a structure that smelled of animals, sweat, and dust. It was part warehouse, part corral. I never thought I'd end up in a place like this, he thought, as he leafed through some pages of a chemical journal. 10 years at the university, and here I am in a corral. But he had to move on. He believed in omens. All his life and all his studies were aimed at finding the one true language of the universe. First, he had studied Esperanto, then the world's religions, and now it was alchemy. He knew how to speak Esperanto. He understood all the major religions well, but he wasn't yet an alchemist. He had unraveled the truths behind important questions, but his studies had taken him to a point beyond which he could not seem to go. He had tried in vain to establish a relationship with an alchemist, but the alchemists were strange people who thought only about themselves and almost always refused to help him. Who knows? Maybe they had failed to discover the secret of the masterwork, the philosopher's stone, and for this reason kept their knowledge to themselves. He'd already spent much of the fortune left to him by his father, fruitlessly seeking the philosopher's stone. He had spent enormous amounts of time at the great libraries of the world and had purchased all the rarest and most important volumes on alchemy. More and more and more.
But so exactly. So like, what is more exhausting than a man who like actively tries to learn Esperanto? Do you know what I mean? Where like a white guy.
Right. And I'm so like, parts of me wish that one of us loved this book because I'm so curious like what people make of him. Like, do people who love this book think he's important? Because he is the person who teaches the boy about the idea of alchemy, which eventually leads him to meeting the alchemist. So he is like this integral part of the story. But him being described as the Englishman, I instantly was like, I hate this guy.
Okay. First of all, he's probably got like a pretty decent outfit. Like he's probably wearing like a Turnbull and Asser shirt or whatever, and like a double strapped monk strap shoe, like or something. And so like maybe he has like very, very exciting timepiece, but like other than that, he sounds insufferable. And he does like mildly redeem himself, but like I'm so happy as a turncoat and to fulfill my personal legend of like not having any conviction of like deciding that I love this book. There is something about this book that does drill into your head like something about a personal legend. I am also susceptible right now because, as you know, I'm promoting a book. And so I'm like, is my book fulfilling my personal legend? God, I hope so. So that's sort of happening. Well, it's like, I feel like this book is a little bit like if you were nursing heartache and reading Brene Brown.
Sure.
Where like, if I was, as they call it in this book, a seeker, like I could see this book being important. If I was like trying to decide, if COVID was my entire college experience and I'm hitting the job market now,
right,
I would be fucking with this book for any indication of help, hope, or anything.
Right. I mean, so, okay, let's take a break and then I want to talk about the other side of this book. Summer is finally here. It is my favorite season. There is so much good stuff happening over here at the Stacks. You all know about the podcast. Of course you do. You're listening to it right now. But do you know about the Stacks Pack on Patreon and my newsletter Unstacked on Substack? Listening to this show supports the work I do. It goes a super long way. But if you want to go the super duperest, longest, most extra miley way, you should consider supporting us on those platforms. You get perks and it makes it possible for me to make the show. Plus, between now and September 22nd, any paid member of the Stacks Pack on Patreon or a subscriber to my newsletter gets my nonfiction reading guide. It is 30 nonfiction books that I love. It is exclusive to both of those platforms. And you know you want it. Plus, it'll be gone come September 22nd. So you've got to join. And in addition to getting the nonfiction reading guide on the Patreon, you've got access to our book club meetups, to our private Discord. You get a bonus episode. You get the mega reading challenge. And then in the newsletter, you can hear me give all of my hot takes on books, pop culture. Every month, I rank every book I read in order from least to most favorite. I'm giving you the inside tea on all of these books. You also get that bonus episode each month. Making this podcast is a collaborative effort, and by supporting the Patreon and the Substack, you allow me to make this podcast alongside my incredible team so they can do what they do best. So if you're looking to meet other bookish friends, if you want to hear more book conversation, join me on Patreon, Substack, or both. You could join the Stacks Pack at patreon.com/thestacks, and you can subscribe to the newsletter at tracythomas.substack.com. And both of those links are right there in the episode description. All right, see y'all in the Stacks. When I started the Stacks, I learned pretty quickly that having my own business was going to involve a lot more than just reading great books and talking to my favorite authors. There were episodes to schedule, scripts to write, logos to create, social media to manage. And as you all know, my to-do list was endless. I was spending so much time sorting through all of these logistics. It was hard to find time to actually read books. When you're starting your own business, it helps to have a tool that can simplify everything so that you can focus on what actually matters most to you and your business. And that's why I want to introduce you to Shopify. Shopify makes starting your own business feel seamless with hundreds of ready-to-use templates to build your brand identity. They've got AI tools to help you write copy and enhance images. They've got built-in marketing tools to create bespoke emails and social media campaigns to reach even more people. And the best part is you can manage all of your tasks in one place, which makes your life easier and your business operate way more efficiently. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, from household names to startups. And you know what? Now might be a perfect time for you to add your business to that list. Start your business today with the industry's best business partner, Shopify, and start hearing. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/thestacks. Go to shopify.com/thestacks. That's shopify.com/thestacks. All right, we're back. I want to talk about if you believe the truth of this book, which is that like the universe conspires again in your favor to help you achieve your personal legend. And if you don't achieve your personal legend, you'll be unhappy and sort of like living a not great life. All the examples of the people who aren't fulfilling their personal legend in this book are sort of like sad, melancholy people who just are like going along to get along. Like the crystal guy, he's never going to go to Mecca. That's his dream, but he's never going to fulfill it. There's other people who we run into who are just like, they're just like work. There's just like a baker and he doesn't want to bake. He wanted to go out in the world, but he decided to bake because he could make more money. And like, he's sort of like sad boy.
I felt like the baker thing was kind of like such a weird diss. This part really did feel like I'm like a founder. I'm a startup king, and I'm not like just like a baker, because like the baker by and large seemed completely fine.
Like
and,
he took a stray for like the theory of this book. It was like, oh, we have to go anti-baker. Like,
and high key, I felt like that was kind of like really like aggressive. That felt manosphere to be like there was something so like snide and sort of pejorative seeming, as if like baking was like. And staying closer to the hearth and homestead is like is like some lady shit or something. It was very, very weird. Like,
yes,
but then they do this sort of like backhanded compliment of like, but bakers are very important to the village. So I didn't enjoy the cherry picking perfectly upstanding jobs.
Yeah,
in service of like, I'm gonna be like a gold prospector,
right?
Which is essentially what Santiago's doing.
Right. He's like going to be a capitalist. But so I feel like, so I was reading this book in conjunction with this other nonfiction book called Unreasonable Women, which is about women who murder their abusers. And I was thinking about, as I'm reading this book, like obviously this book is a parable. It exists in this made up land. There are not systems of oppression. There are not people who are victimized over and over again because of like racism or classism or because they're women or whatever. And so I kept thinking as I'm reading this other book of like, if you believe The Alchemist to be true, if you believe that your life, you are successful in your life because you are doing the thing you're supposed to be doing, what does that mean that you believe about other people who are down on their luck? Like, what does that mean that you believe about women who are raising kids with food stamps? Like, what, you know? And so I started thinking a lot about like, you're telling me the universe is conspiring against all poor people because they're not following their personal legend. Like, and that's the part of this book. Like, if you really take the thinking to its logical conclusion, like if you keep going, because everybody in this book is fine. Nobody's really down on their luck. And I feel
there
like
is a war.
But we don't meet those people.
No.
Except for when they get in the way of Santiago's mission and they all have to be killed, or like when they follow his dream or whatever. But I just kept thinking about like, if this book is super meaningful to you and you really believe in the ideas in this book, how do you live in a world with other people and be a compassionate human?
Well, I think that's the point. I mean, that kind of goes to your earlier thesis about like, this is how you get billionaires.
Right.
Like, this is how you get systems of oppression that are just so baked into like the actual fiber of like how the world turns. Like, this is how, but I don't know, two things to your point. One, I think there's something genius about doing a book flight, like to read two books that sort of bounce off of each other to either like
didn't know that was what was happening. I was like, oh, I'm going to read this book that's great so I can have a great time and not think about The Alchemist. And then I was like, it's following me.
Like, I'm so angry. This book is stoking my flames.
Yeah.
No, but like, so there is that. But like, here's the thing. Like, I think this is kind of when you listen to like, I don't know, like love songs when you're in love, where you're like, damn, it hits different. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, I'm really like vibrationally on this. And I do think that there is something about this book that does do that and does it well. Like, here's my question to you, like kind of divorcing ourselves from the larger conversation of like, well, does everybody have a personal legend then? And then what's going on? But like, you know, is your personal legend fulfilled at the cost of other people's personal legend? Because the other thing about this book that was so annoying was that they were talking about what happens if you know, when Santiago at one point is at the oasis, he's with his great love, and he's just like, and the alchemist is basically like, well, the first year is chill. Second year also fine. And then by year 3, you're like flailing. You're unhappy at everything you have. The love of your life you don't like anymore. And then the omen stops speaking to you. And then your personal legend might as well be dead. So like even the scarcity mentality of like, there's a sell-by date on your personal legend, I thought was kind of like a little bit scammy. But
yeah,
my question to you is, do you believe that that you have a personal legend and that you are either fulfilling it or not fulfilling it?
No, I don't believe I have a personal legend. I don't believe that anything in the world, universe, whatever, exists solely on an individual level. And I think
Maktub.
and I think you have it is written. I think you have to believe in that to believe that you have a personal legend. Like you have to believe that you are singular enough to be deserving of like this calling. And I mean, or maybe my personal legend is to be in community with other people, but like, I just can't imagine that there's something telling me what I need to be doing. I think there are things, like I think we have things we're good at. I think maybe people have a calling, but I don't think it's as specific as it's presented in this book.
So the central thrust of this book, you're not fucking with.
I don't agree with it. No, I think it's I think it's in service to like some really dark shit, I guess is what I was kind of trying to get at before. It's like, I think this book is in service to systems of oppression. I think it's in service to capitalism. I think it's in service to like sexism and racism. And I think it's in service to like the work mentality. I don't necessarily think it created it, but I think it allows people the reason it feels so girl bossy and boy bossy is because people who are those things, that's what they want us, the rest of the worker bees to believe. They want us all to believe that we have to always be working towards this one thing. And if we're not doing it, we're failing. Because like throughout the book, the boy tells us multiple times, I'm actually really happy. I have all these sheep. I have all these sheep. I love these sheep. I get to see the world, which is what I want to do. I want to see the world. I get to do that. I get to learn from these animals. Then he's like, no, you got to go. He's like, okay, fine. I'm going to sell the sheep. Immediately he gets robbed. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to work with this crystal guy. And I actually love this work. And I'm making so much money. And I could just get more sheep and go back to seeing the world. And I really love that. Like, I genuinely love that. And then he's like, I meet this woman. I love this woman. Instantly, she's amazing. I want to be with her. And they're like, no, fuck that bitch. You need to go get treasure. You need to go get treasure. You're never going to be happy if you don't go get treasure. And he's like, but like, what if Fatima's my treasure? And then the guy's like, no, your treasure's literally at the pyramids. Like, it has to physically be there.
And he was like, well, what if she's my treasure? And he's like, can't be her. She's a desert lady.
Yeah.
She knows she will lose you to the desert. And
yeah.
I was just like, damn. Like, at that point, I was like, definitely. I do think.
Do you believe?
Well, here's the thing. Like, I agree with you that something like this is kind of like volatile, right? It's like too dangerous. It's like too easily weaponized by like people who are like on that, again, manifest destiny. Let me just go westward and displace a bunch of people already living there. Like, that's very much the vibe. It's very like steamrolling. It's giving like Robert Moses. It's like, that's definitely the energy. However, I do believe in a personal legend. And I do also believe in the fulfillment of a personal legend. And I believe in a soul agreement. And I call it my soul agreement. Like,
and that's like what you're meant to be doing.
That's what I'm meant to be doing on this earth. And like, so I do believe in that, but this is where it becomes really dangerous. And this is why I'm such an anxious person who is incapable of happiness, because joy registers as terror. Because in thinking that I have a personal legend, it means everything I do or do not do is either in service of the personal legend or sabotaging my access to fulfilling my personal legend. It lends a kind of import, and it lends a kind of like almost like hyper vigilant superstitiousness and this like paralysis by analysis to all the things I'm doing. So like, in some ways, a book like this is just detrimental to any sort of hope I have in like surrendering and going with the flow. Like, I do believe in Maktub or like fate, insofar as I'm like, I think where I'm just like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And I don't have that much control over it. And thinking and fighting or thinking I have control over or flailing is only going to increase my personal suffering. And so I actually think I believe in this book and I believe in what this book is saying. And I think it's ruining my life.
Interesting. I believe that we have a calling in so much that we have things we are good at, that only we are good at, or things that we can offer to the world. Not only we are good at, but things that we are exceptional at that we can offer to the world. I just don't believe that it is so like exclusionary, that it's either you're doing it or you're failing. I don't believe that
Yeah.
because I do believe in the circuitousness of life, that like something that you do 20 years ago will come back and be something that matters today. But like at the time, it doesn't feel like it's part of your legend because it wasn't actually part of your legend. It has become part of your legend. And I guess you could say that the universe is conspiring for those things. But like, I just don't believe that things work in a way that like it's yes or no. I just believe like you should be doing the things that you are the best at because that is something that you can offer to other people. I think more my thing is like, what can I offer to the world? Where do my skills and my passions align that I can help or be of comfort or whatever to others and to the planet? Like that's sort of more my
like
philosophy.
Being of service. Like
Yes.
that's like something that's completely missing from this entire book.
Right.
There's no like any hat tip towards community, like service. It's all like, you know, a person just flying dolo, like with their own secret mission. It's a lot of striving and like
Yes.
that's the part that I do think it's a little bit like, is it like irresponsible to sell this book in this job market?
Right.
I'm like,
well, it's also just so male. And I also think it is a product of the 1980s, right? Like it's late 80s. So they're coming off of like, it's like Reagan era.
It's
you
Trump,
know?
Trump. Yeah.
I mean, so the author's Brazilian. So who knows exactly like what, but I think like, I mean, it's Margaret Thatcher. Like it's a time. It is of a time. It is of a place where we were not doing a lot of like community stuff. We were doing a lot of solo. But the craziest thing is, so in an interview in The Guardian, he said he wrote the interviewer was like, "Oh, I heard you wrote this book in 2 weeks or 4 weeks." And he was like, "It was actually 2 weeks. The story was already written in my soul."
Wow. So he's basically like the Emerald thing with the Alchemist where like the rules are like only a couple of lines on the Emerald.
Well, also like I think he was like sort of a jerk.
I mean, that tracks.
Okay, but listen to this question from the interview. Your most successful book, The Alchemist, has sold 30 million copies. And he said, more than that. I think it's 35 million. Altogether, my books have sold 150 million copies. You can add another 20% for pirated editions.
You know what I do like about that, though? Like, because he has so many other books.
Yeah.
Like, what is that like? You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, so like that was your big hit, like in '88 or whatever it was. Like, it must also like haunt him to a certain degree. But so you know what my favorite part of the book actually was? It's on page 3, and it says it's basically like this is Santiago before his journey. He's just gotten some sheep, and he's like, if I became a monster today and decided to kill them one by one, they would become aware only after most of the flock had been slaughtered, thought the boy. They trust me, and they've forgotten how to rely on their own instincts because I lead them to nourishment. So this. I thought this was like an indication of maybe not Paulo, maybe Paulo. Like this is basically how we're taught to think about everyone else.
Yes.
In this book?
Yes, there's so many parts of this book that are like anti-community. How about when the woman like interprets his dream and she's like, "Listen, just give me 10% of your treasure." And he's like, "This bitch is trying to steal my money." And then like the king comes over and he's like, "Hey, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Oh, this must be her husband. She must have sent her husband over here to like fleece me of my sheep, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, okay, bro, or just relax. You could say hello and be kind for one moment. Like his instant jump to just like hating everybody and like just like being like, it's just me out here. Like I'm king of the castle.
Fair, he's the guy going around spouting off about his treasure. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's like, so it's on him. He's like dry snitching on himself and then feeling some type of way about like paranoia or whatever. But like, yeah, like basically, but again, like, the recognition that I foundationally believe this, and this is what is leading to my mounting anxiety about book promotion and feeling as though I'm either jeopardizing myself or refusing to do something that will lead me to success. Like, it was reading this book that let me see my own belief system and be able to audit and interrogate it. And that's what led me to having a big crying fit because my partner is out of town, like, the week before my book comes out. And so, like, And then I was just like, oh, I've been too much like Santiago when I actually do need family and friends around me constantly. And so then I had a big cry and FaceTimed him and also made him cry. So thank you to this book.
Nailing it. Well, okay, but so this does sort of, I think this is a good place to go into the manosphere, because I hear what you're saying, which is like, you do fundamentally believe the central idea of this book, which is that everyone has their own unique personal legend and is on them to honor that and to go in search of that and to live their life,
and
following
ignoring
that.
it and ignoring it does exact a cost.
Yes, and ignoring it exacts a cost. And I think that if you really do believe that, to your point, it causes stress and anxiety. Like, it is not an easy time to live your whole life in service to this idea, or like that it's either or. Either you're doing it or you're failing.
Right. And also, like, where is God? And I think,
Great question. I think a lot of people would love to know if you figure it out.
Drop a pin, God,
yeah.
God. No, but like, I just mean that, like, like where is, it keeps saying things like, the universe will conspire to help you fulfill your personal legend. But like, where's just the part where you like trust that you're going to be okay and then just simply do the good work that's set in front of you?
Well, see, that's more my my approach more is like, you have skills, you have things you can do, and you face the world as it comes to you, and you do the best you can, and you need other people. And
you need other people, and you're not the one who is going to deliver you to salvation. Like, I think that that's like the biggest sort of schism between this book and like any other books that actually do tout like genuine spirituality, which the whole point. And I think that this, either the point is in the book, but it's muddled. But like, the whole point is that you're just supposed to sort of trust and surrender.
Yeah.
And like, be in the pocket and understand when you're doing something that is vibrationally aligned with what your values are, or when you feel that sort of crunchy feeling when you're betraying yourself. And then you just have some clarity. You do no harm. You are in community. You help people where you can. You receive help because that will bring you closer to the people. And like, and this is like, even this book talks about love, and it's still so tinny and sort of flat.
Yes. The love stuff is so weird in this book. There's so much weird love stuff. Wait, hold on. Like, without love, dreams have no meaning. Because we have to, and this is like also like some of it's like romantic love, which I thought was really weird.
But the romantic love is so sus. It's classic sex and love addiction. It's like SLAA. Like, it's so like, okay, so the first time he sees Fatima or whatever, it's like, at that moment, it seemed to him that time stood still and the soul of the world surged within him. When he looked into her dark eyes and saw that her lips were poised between a laugh and silence, he learned the most important part of the language that all the world spoke, the language that everyone on earth was capable of understanding in their heart. It was love. And then she basically smiled, and that was it. That was the omen he had been waiting. That's like, basically, he's like, what the boy felt at that moment was that he was in the presence of the only woman in his life, and that with no need for words, she recognized the same thing. I was like, okay, where is consent?
Right. Well, and she says to him, she says, you've told me about your dreams, blah, blah, blah. And then she says, I am a part of your dream, a part of your personal legend, as you call it. And I'm just like, oh, so your whole existence is to be in service of his personal legend? Hello. That's a red flag. Like, dude, shouldn't she have her own personal legend? If the point is that everybody has a personal legend,
has their own personal legend.
Her personal legend to be part of his personal legend? Like, dude, it's a nightmare.
This is from her. I have been waiting for you here at the Oasis for a long time. I have forgotten about my past, about my traditions, and the way in which men of the desert expect women to behave. Ever since I was a child, I've dreamed that the desert would bring me a wonderful present. Now my present has arrived, and it's you. Both these people are mentally ill.
Yes, yes. But like, basically, her personal legend was to find a husband. Like,
totally.
His is like to go off and adventure and be rich, and hers is like to boo up.
But not even to find, to be delivered.
To be delivered. And then, okay, so then way later in the book, towards the end, he says "This is what we call love," the boy said, seeing that the wind was close to granting what he requested. This is like when he's turning into the wind. Just like so weird. They're like, "This is alchemy." I'm like, "No, babe. Alchemy is stone into gold. Period. That's it. It's not fucking becoming the wind."
Narrow definitions. We can't have scope creep on something like alchemy.
Yeah. Well,
but that's the entire book. That is the entire book, to be fair.
So then he says, "When you are loved, you can do anything in creation. When you are loved, there's no need at all to understand what's happening because everything happens within you. And even men can turn themselves into the wind as long as the wind helps us, of course." And my thing is like, so is that love the love that Fatima's talking about? Or is this this feels like a different kind of love. It feels like you're being loved by the universe. But I don't know, to use the same word and like to talk about it in the same way, I didn't like that.
You know what I will say is kind of burying the lead or like something about this book that I did enjoy. The Alchemist sounded hot as fuck.
Oh, you think? I was picturing an elder, a bearded elder.
I pictured him like on the horse with his face all covered and shit. And I was like with his sword and like, he's like, "Why did you read the Flight of the Birds?" I was just like, okay. Like I was really into that. I feel
like if he was hot, and I'm open to that, I would like the book more because I love hot people. But I was imagining sort of an old bearded, like, what's that? The Hobbits. I was like, sort of like an old, like, wizard. He was
giving Shire to you.
Yes,
like
it was giving
Shire.
wizard. Yeah, it wasn't giving like.
No, I thought like 6'6".
Oh my God! On
like,
a horse,
6'6" on a horse. Catching print in his robes and shit. Like, yeah, I thought he was hot. Maybe, but like, I don't know. Like, maybe that was just like my brain conflating like rich with hot. Like, physically
I love this.
Overpowering. I don't know.
I love this. I mean, we haven't even talked about the Alchemist. When he gets to this oasis after he's been traveling with like Graham, the Irishman or the Englishman. I don't know. His name's definitely Graham spelled crazy.
Like Graeme.
Yeah. That's the Irish way. So I don't know, but I feel like that's correct. When they get there, Graham I love that his name's Graham now. Graham's like, "We gotta go find the Alchemist." Alchemist would live where there's like an oven. Obviously, the Alchemist lives in like the most boring place. And he like, Graham meets him and he's like, "Yeah, Graham, go make some gold. Just like go try it. You got to try it a lot of times. Go do it. And then he meets the boy and he's like, "Oh, boy in search of personal legend. Love your show." And he's like, "Great. Let's go in the desert, like find me life. You have to listen to your heart." And he's like, "Okay, you did it. Congratulations. Now I will take you through the desert, through this war to the pyramids for the most part." And he is just like spouting nonsense, gibberish language. This is the part of the book where I really started to be like, I gotta get out of here because it starts to become so much like Paulo's theory. It stops being plot at all. It just starts being like word salad. Yes, but up until that point, we're not getting the explanation. It's sort of just like, oh, we're going here, we're going there. Once we get to the Alchemist,
really recursive. It's true.
Yes, it's like, okay, this is how this works. Listen to your heart. This is when listen to your heart comes in. This is the language of the this. Then we get the whole conversation of him trying to make himself into the wind where he's talking to the sand. And I'm like, oh my God.
Actually, unfortunate. Okay, so I love that you were like, second word with the Alchemist only. I missed. Oh, also it's Graham. They pronounce it Graham.
Oh.
But like, I love the whole part where the boy is talking to his heart in the desert and the heart is chatting with. I love that part. I was really into that part. You know why? Like, it's a little bit gives like Body Keeps a Score, but the part about that I liked is, as a person who has had such a terrible relationship with selfhood, like I've been so dissociative my whole life. I feel that I put myself physically in compromising situations. I put myself cognitively in situations that are too exhausted for like sustained periods. I feel like I betray my heart and my body all the time. And so in that part where he's in the desert, and again, this might be a product of the fact that I'm in a promotion cycle, but I was just like, this part is really nice. Like, they're friends. Like the part where he becomes friends with his heart, I was deeply moved, actually.
Okay, look, see, you like this book way more than me.
I liked this part, I was just like, oh, they're getting along. Because I would love to be in cahoots with my heart and my body. Like that would,
Sure.
Like I think that would be like a really wonderful thing to experience.
I feel
and
that.
like when his heart gets silent and he's just doing a little ride along and the heart has no complaints and no observations and the heart is just chilling with the desert. Like I was into that. I want that for me.
Well, I'm glad you liked that part. It's sort of
because it was bullshit.
No, it just sort of lumped in for me with all of the stuff with the Alchemist. I think by that point in the book, I was like, "Get me out of here!" I was just like, "I'm done. I'm done. I'm done." I just looking at my notes. One of my notes says, "Is this book a TED Talk?"
This book is a TED Talk.
This book is a TED Talk, and this book is actually one of a kind in the sense that in my mind of books that I've read, because it is self-help literature. Like self-help is usually nonfiction, and it is doing all the self-help things, but like through fiction. Which, shout out.
It reminds me of like the heyday of porn where they had like narrative porn and they were like, this is starring Jenna Jameson and it's about pirates. And so there's like real dialogue. That's kind of what it reminds me of.
Sure. It's like self-help porn dialogue fiction all together.
Well, it's just like where the narrative
I would love to
there.
see the Jenna Jameson version of The Alchemist. You know?
I'm sure it exists. And
I'm sure she'd be a great Fatima, like I've been waiting for you all my life.
So how many chili peppers would you give this out of a possible 5?
Chili peppers being like hot and steamy, like the porn version, or
no, just like how many stars would you give this?
I give this book 1 star.
Wow.
1 star.
What if you could give half points? Would you give half or like
I give it 1.5, I guess.
Okay.
But like I'm comfortable just doing 1. Like I don't.
Wow.
Because also we didn't really talk about this, but also I think the writing is really bad. Like
the writing is arguably bad.
Like there are sentences where it's like the boy thought the boy said the boy that thought, and I was just like, if he thinks one more fucking time,
if he thunks. The one thing I will say about it is interesting. Like you were saying, like it's pretty singular in that like it predates TED Talk and is a TED Talk. And in the same way, like I feel like it's a book that feels like it was written by Claude, predating Claude. Like it feels like AI in every way, in a way that at this point feels almost prescient. Yeah,
I agree with that. Like this book is not, it's not 0 stars. Like there are things about I like. I just honestly, I just can't get over the fact that this book, I do blame this book and others, you mentioned The Fountainhead, for the state of the world right now. Like I blame a book like this for Trump. I do. I blame this idea, this like striver. I blame it for like a lot of the people who have gone on from reality TV to becoming influencers who are selling me tummy tea. And I say this as a person who I know my job is influencing. But like,
so you took it all the way back to tummy tea.
Well, that was my heyday. I love The Bachelor. Yeah. But I'm just like, I resent this book because I can see so clearly how a person could read this book, choose to believe this book, and become a Republican. Like
become a nightmare human being and the shittiest citizen to share this planet with. Yes.
And like to my earlier kind of point about like, well, what does that mean for people who have been dealt a shit hand? They're bad people because they're not in service of their personal legend, and it's okay to throw them away. Because that sort of feels like what this book says about people who aren't, like, it's like they're less than you. Well,
it sort of assumes, one of two things. One, the culpability is theirs. Maybe they didn't listen to their personal legend, and so they're in year 5, and that's why they are unhoused. Or it's like it just like lacks this type of imagination that other people have this internal knowledge and monologue. It lacks the interiority of granting other people interiority, where it's just like,
and that we exist in systems in the world. This is a parable.
Totally.
People who take this parable into the world and like believe this is their life, like that they need to live their personal legend for real, and ignore the fact that we live in a world with systems and power and inequality and stuff. It's like I just feel like I can understand why people like hate welfare queens. It's like, yeah, you believe this, then a welfare queen is your worst nightmare because she's just taking and she's getting in the way of your personal legend because you have to pay taxes for this bitch. Like, I feel like this book makes me mad because I can just see the logic of certain people and how this book has been like weaponized in service of all the things I hate.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely affirms a sense of exceptionalism and like hyper privilege.
And the way this
like,
book is like foisted on 18, 19, 20-year-olds when you are making your choices about how to be an adult in the world. And like, this is the thing. This is a foundational text for so many people. That also upsets me.
It is definitely giving, like, I'm hearing that you never got over the ick. Like, the ick was pervasive throughout.
Well, it just came right back. I went in being like, let's see. And then I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. It's everywhere.
No, it definitely, it's like ick glitter. It does get on everything. And and that's the point. The spillage is upsetting. Yes. I would give it, I'm like notoriously too generous with this. I would probably give it like 3 stars.
Wow. You're so generous.
You're
also promoting a book, so you want other people to be generous.
Team books.
Yeah.
No, I just really like it. I did get something out of it. That was just my thing.
I'm glad. Honestly, I'm glad because I was worried we were both going to hate it equally and we weren't going to be able to have.
And then we would be like those people who are like, then why do you come here?
Yes, exactly.
If you hate it so much,
why are you here?
Why are you here? But it was fun to do this together, I thought.
It was. Okay, the last thing we have to talk about, though, briefly, is the title and the cover. There's so many covers of this book, so I feel like we don't really have to talk about the cover. But can I just show you the cover that I got at the used bookstore? Do you see that? It's like a man with like a baby angel on his head.
Wow.
And I don't understand. Like, it's giving deeply Christian, but who's the man and who's the baby?
I don't know. And are they white? And also, like, if I, like, everything about that, like, evokes the question, like, am I dead?
It's very upsetting.
Am I dead? Yeah.
Because there's also, like, the bright orange cover with, like, the yellow circle.
Yeah.
And then there's, like, the cream one. That's, like,
or, like, the sort of vague, sort of, like, like, crystal shop vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the title, what do you make of the title, The Alchemist?
I feel like it's catchy. Like, I can't knock it. Branding wise, I think it's great. I think it's like the fact that he has managed to SEO for Alchemist is a powerful move. I think it's emblematic of the fact that it came out in 88. Like, you know, like that sort of station is definitely like grandfathered from a long time ago. But I do. Yeah. The title is unknockable. And you know that because like the rest of his titles for his other books are so wildly forgettable in comparison. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great title, you know, and there's also like the question of like, are we talking about the alchemist in the Oasis or are we talking about the boy?
The understanding that it's all, yeah, totally.
The student has become the teacher, right?
It's like if the book was called Synergy.
Yeah. The synergist. I feel like it also taps into sort of like the mystical elements.
Oh, heavy.
You know,
heavy.
like it's like you pick it up and you're like, sure, like weird.
Yeah, the Philosopher's Stone, like the whole thing of it. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Okay, we did it. Everybody listen to the end of this episode to find out what our July book club pick will be. If you have not yet, you must right now go get a copy of Pool House. It is out in the world wherever you get your books. And if you've already got Pool House and you've already read Pool House, have you read Mary's 3 other books? They're quote unquote YA, but don't believe that because like I liked them instantly. And you know, for me, YA is a little bit of a struggle. They are for adults who like to think about kids. In a not creepy way. But you know what I mean? I feel like those are, I mean, I know kids like them, but I'm like, these books are also for adults.
Oh, totally. We were once kids, but also like.
Yeah, it's like for adults who like to watch Gossip Girl, you know, like that's who it's for.
It's basically for 34-year-olds.
That's right. And I did read them when I was like 34. That's actually spot on. Mary, I love you. I adore you. Thank you so much for saying yes to doing The Alchemist. I'm glad it brought you so much joy on your own personal legend. I do think it might have interfered with my personal legend, but that's fine. It's
Maybe
fine.
that was the personal legend, the interference. Who can say? See?
We'll see in 20 years if I find a treasure. You're the best. I love you. Thank
I love you.
Everybody else will see you in the stacks. All right, y'all, that does it for us today. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you again to Mary H.K. Choi for joining the show. I'd also like to say a thank you to Kat Keeney for helping to make this episode possible. And now it's time to announce our book club pick for July. We will be reading Behind the Beautiful Forevers, Life, Death, and Hope in a Mumbai Undercity by Catherine Bu. This book came out in 2012. It won the National Book Award, the LA Times Book Prize, and was a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize. It is a modern classic of narrative nonfiction, and I cannot wait to read it with all of you. We will be discussing the book on Wednesday, July 29th on this very podcast, and you can tune in next Wednesday, July 1st, to find out who our guest will be. If you love The Stacks and want inside access to it, head to patreon.com/The Stacks to join the Stacks Pack and check out my newsletter at tracythomas.substack.com. Make sure you're subscribed to The Stacks wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you're listening through Apple Podcasts or Spotify, take a moment to leave us a rating and a review. For more from The Stacks, follow us on social media at The Stacks Pod on Instagram, Threads, and now YouTube. And you can check out our website at thestackspodcast.com. This episode of The Stacks was edited by Christian Duenas with production assistance from Sahara Clement. And our theme music is from Tigirigis. The Stacks is created and produced by me, Tracy Thomas.